Hi, folks. Here's another amendment to the Bill of Rights, Gene's second Bill of Rights. This is Amendment number 3 that I propose to the United States Constitution. Now, why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because over the years, over the century, we've seen imperfections surface in our democracy. And the beautiful thing about our democracy is that it's elastic enough to remedy its own shortcomings along the way. We have reached a point, though, where many of the amendments to the Constitution have been taken advantage of. The process in government has been run roughshod over. Elected officials, both within the administration, the legislature, Congress, and its judiciary have taken advantage of those shortcomings. And so now more specific repairs or remedies are needed to this United States Constitution, and it must be done so quickly because time is of the essence in the way we've been managing the defects that exist in the operation of our government. Therefore, I propose the third amendment to my second Bill of Rights, called the Supreme Magistrates. The Supreme Magistrates are to autonomously operate within the Justice Department and are subordinated only to the Supreme Court of the United States. While they are not a separate branch of government, they are an independent, objective, nonpartisan group with oversight of all officials of government and report only to you, the citizens of the United States. They are not appointed by any elected official and stand apart in their authority. They are not to be considered bureaucrats or any other layer of government bureaucracy. They oversee and police the efficacy of all elected officials, appointed officials, and their staff. They are not operating government. They are managing the bad behavior of ethics, conflicts of interest, and the wrongdoing of all such officials of government. The Supreme Court of the United States is the only recourse for actions of the Supreme Magistrates. You don't like what the Supreme Magistrates are done? Take it to the final authority of this land, the Supreme Court of the United States. So what's the purpose? Why are we doing this? They're intended to provide an immediate removal process of any person elected to office that should be removed immediately, and to impose the civil or criminal penalties necessary commensurate thereto. So if the guy took a $1,000 bribe, he doesn't serve life in prison, that elected official. But the Supreme Magistrates should be able to police it, adjudicate it, and impose a criminal fine for such wrongdoing. If there was a rape, incest, murder, they should also have the right to impose a more significant fine or penalty under the law, commensurate with the laws of the land. The duties. What are the duties of the Supreme Magistrates? With material and factual evidence in their hands, the magistrates are authorized to impose a direct and immediate impeachment process on their own and have the authority to remove any elected official from their office within the United States government. This includes and is not limited to the president, the vice president, members of Congress, officers of the court, officer or anybody within the FBI, the federal, state, and county district attorneys and or prosecutors. What's their authority? The magistrates will impose penalties, sanctions, and or similar remedies for any illegal acts by any of these transgressors and serve out a penalty of equal felony weight in proportion to the crime committed. That's what I was alluding to a minute ago. The accused elected transgressor shall never be able to hold an elected office again. It's a loophole in our system now, they can. And shall not ever be able to serve as a lobbyist, an advocate, or a promoter of any business purpose aligned with the cause of their illegal act or acts. So how is the special magistrate chosen? The special magistrate is a person elected directly by the citizens of the United States, you, as I said earlier, without regard to any political party affiliation. The person is not appointed. They are not to be considered bureaucrats or any other layer of government, bureaucracy. The person holds one of 3 seats, which is open for election every 6 years. The number of seats may change only by amendment to the Constitution of the United States. And each of these 3 supreme magistrates is to be elected in rotation every 2 years. You can go to the website and look at this Third Amendment and see how the initial term of service is set up and created for each magistrate. But the key thing is that each candidate may campaign, each magistrate who is a candidate first, may campaign for his position through the existing national election process, and the source of his campaign funding for each candidate shall come solely from the contributions paid for by citizens in their tax return or directly from the United States Treasury. The point is, no campaign financing is allowed from private interest groups, which has been the peril that has impacted adversely the election process we've seen nationwide now. The Convention of States, in its sole discretion, may recommend a candidate campaign budget and the compensation package for that supreme magistrate, subject to the budget approval process of the United States Congress. This capsulizes the Supreme Magistrates Amendment, Amendment number 3 of my proposed Second Bill of Rights to the United States Constitution. Thank you for pondering it with me.